Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 23. So if I sound a little tired, it's just because literally I was watching the Carolina-Florida game in the NHL, and it went to 4 overtime periods, so I was up till like 2 in the morning, and it's now like 10 a.m. Didn't get a really good sleep either because lawnmowers are going around, and it's quite frustrating, but anyway, I was trying to power through it and record this video for you guys, because obviously it's the day before that you will actually see this episode. But anyways, if you didn't catch the last episode, we basically just started up the season. We did some scouting, and I feel like this year's class is probably going to be a little bit of a weaker draft for us, just because we didn't really find the unanimous #1 prospect in baseball. So hopefully we end up finding out who's actually the best player, because we do still have 1 year left, or 1 week left of scout, not 1 year left, jeez. So I think we will probably scout out Ornelas a little bit more, but right now it's looking like Bobby Hyde is more than likely going to end up being our pick if he doesn't get fully scouted, and we don't know if he's actually better or not. So, but yeah, doesn't look like the best class. Looks like there's a lot of starting pitchers and stuff like that, which is good because obviously we do need all the help we could get in terms of pitching. Yeah, we do have the first overall pick in this year's draft, so I'm hoping that we make the right decision, because obviously if we make the wrong decision at #1, that could come back to bite us down the line. So yeah, excited to get into the draft and see what it actually is like, because who knows, maybe it's actually a lot better than we think. But on paper, to me, I feel like there's not going to be really a lot of A potential players in this draft. Like, I feel like there's going to be high B potential players, and then there's going to be maybe some A potential players, but they're going to be like long shot players that are really low overalls and it take a decent amount of time to actually develop. So anyways, before we get into this episode, I do have one comment to go over, and then I also have to talk about what Nick was saying in the Discord. So the first comment is from Garrett Blair. He says, I would say a good age range to add prospects to the bigs would be 23 to 24. Anyone younger than that, I would be patient with them and allow them to develop unless they're in their 80s. Then I would say 20 at the youngest. So, yeah, basically, because in last episode we moved Lake up to the MLB and also Gary McAllister. So he's saying if they're 23 to 24, it's good to probably have them in the majors. If they have a good overall too. But if they're not at that, not at a good overall, and they're only like say 19 years old, obviously it's better to probably wait a little bit. Like, I'd say Pip is probably getting close to that territory where he should be ready, but we could always wait until he's like 23, 24 as well. But obviously, if he's already an 80 overall by the time he's 21 or 22, then he should probably be in the MLB. So we'll see what we end up doing with that for next season. But yeah, that's that. And I was also talking with Nick in the Discord, because he just joined the Discord, and he was saying probably the best player to take obviously in the draft is Hyde, which is what we were just mentioning, because Hyde looks like he's going to be probably a pretty good starter for the future. And obviously we do have a couple good pitchers, but nothing like, I would say Howe is probably the best pitcher we have right now, obviously, for sure. But then after that, it kind of falls off a little bit, so it's good to always have like some good secondary options in the pitching department. Obviously, some of these starting pitchers we could end up using as relievers too at some points. So yeah, basically I think Bobby Hyde will more than likely be our pick, unless Ornelas seems to have a better overall like range to start off with, which right now he has a little bit of a lower overall. So we'll find out about that at the draft. The good thing about Bobby Hyde as well, though, is he has a very high interest and a low bonus demand. Ornelas, on the other hand, he does not have a good bonus demand, because obviously he was projected to go a lot higher by the MLB. And yeah, his interest is a little bit lower, but we do have 1 more week to scout out him, so we will put him as one of the players. Let me just make sure I'm using the right scout, though. Yeah, I am. Okay. That's good, and we'll scout out a couple other random dudes that we didn't fully scout yet for this last week. So let's just get like Walker, like maybe, actually not Walker. Who else do I want to put into this position? I honestly don't really care. Maybe I should just scout a general position again. No, let's just scout some specific players. Because we're kind of running out of time to scout players anyways, so it's not like we're going to find out a drastic change in some player. Let's like get like Benitez scouted out more. And then let's get one positional player scouted out a little bit more too for this last week. And then I'm excited to see what this draft is actually like, because for me, I don't see it being that good of a draft. Like, we've had some pretty weak drafts in the past. We've also had some really good ones, but hopefully this one maybe kind of surprises me in a sense, and it's actually a lot better than we were imagining. So, yeah, there's a lot of pitchers in this draft, so I definitely think there is going to be one guy that we could find potentially that might be really good. So, maybe somewhere out there. Who knows? And let's just get this guy scouted out a little bit more. I don't really care who else we're getting out for this last week. So let's go week, and then we'll get to the draft and see what we're working with. See if we find out any more information about that Ornelas guy. So Montero's been injured. That's actually one of the starting pitcher prospects. He's kind of slowly developing, so he is a little bit of a project player, but hopefully he makes the majors one day, because obviously he's got the good potential to becoming a solid pitcher. Now, Ken Roberts been injured. Geez, another solid pitching prospect, but he's more of like a closer. Sixto is also still injured, so that's also a big problem right now. But the team is winning games, which is kind of a surprise. I don't know if it's mostly because of the guys that were already on this team getting better or what. No, I do not want to stop simulating. Okay, let's go to this draft. 2028 already. It's crazy. We're like flying through these early seasons. We're already in year 6, so next will be in year 7. Okay, let's add some prospects to this draft. So we did find out a little bit more about Ornelas. He does have a lower potential range, and he's also got maybe a higher, or actually right around the same overall range, but I definitely say I would rather go with Hyde, just because of the fact that our scouts say he's got the better potential maybe. He's also got maybe a better overall, but it's probably going to be pretty close on who's actually the better of the two. Like, we might make the wrong decision, but that's okay. So I'd say Hyde's probably going to end up being our pick at number 1. I'm not going to add anybody to our draft board just yet, I think. Actually, no, we'll add everybody that has 100% scouted, just to make it a little bit more easier for us to see who we know and that we have options for, because maybe we'll find somebody in the later parts of the draft. All the people with like 85% and stuff like that I won't add yet, but obviously when we are scrolling through, we'll see if we could find anybody that we did scout out a little bit more. Let's see, do we have any other 100%? There's another one. We should have at least a couple that we could add to our draft board. Hopefully some of them go in later rounds. Like, this guy definitely is going to go in the later round. That's the guy we were actually just scouted out for that last week. We found out he's actually going to be a high overall. So that might be a decent player to take at some stage. Even though he's like not got the highest ceiling, he's got a decent potential range. He might be a higher overall than his potential. So he might be like kind of a good bench option in a sense, or like a AAA player. I don't really know. It's a bit of a risk, obviously, but it might be a solid late pick to take at some stage. So, what else we got here? Any other 100%ers? There's one. Zimmer. Zimmer might be okay also to take it at a later stage, because he's kind of more of like a project player, but he might not have a super high ceiling. But he also might have a low ceiling, which would be a bit of a risk. But if we don't know anything else about other prospects, it's better just to take something that we might have scouted out already a little bit than going in blindly. Yeah, we didn't fully scout out a lot of players actually in this draft, it looks like. But we do have a lot of information about guys later in the draft, so that's always good too. Because then we'll maybe find some players that might be steals. That is if the AI doesn't have a great list either. But I think this class is not going to be good, just based on skimming through this. Okay, so there's only those guys that had 100%. Damn, that's not a lot. That's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a decent amount of names, like 8 names. Okay, let's get into this draft. And yeah, we're going to more than likely just take Bobby Hyde here, just because I think he might be the better of the two options. He's younger as well by 1 year, so that also plays into factor, because yeah, Ornelas is going to be probably pretty good. But he's 19, and then you go to Bobby Hyde, he's 18, might have the same type of thing. He also could be more of a project player, though, which is a little bit scary. But let me actually take a look at his stats. So, stamina in the future looks pretty good. Like, how many well aboves does he have? He has 2 well aboves, 3 well aboves. Well, Rico Ornelas has 1, 2, 3 as well. How about above averages in the future? 1, 2. 1, 2. Damn, they might be pretty even. How about just averages in the future? 1 average, 2 averages. No averages. How much red though? How much red? That's the one thing I want to know about. Well below averages. 1.5 it looks like for Ornelas, and then for Hyde it looks like 4. So yeah, Hyde's the better of the two, at least in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing here. So yeah, we're gonna definitely take Bobby Hyde here. Let's get to taking him. So Bobby Hyde, welcome to Vancouver. He's from California too, so he's from not too far away. So there you go. Average injury risk. He's healthy as well. That bonus demand is nice. The interest is high. He will probably sign easily with us too, so that's really good. Hopefully this episode's not too long, but we definitely need to find ourselves some good players in this draft, so might as well take our time a little bit with these picks. So there is Bobby Hyde, the first overall pick. He was projected to go 45th by the MLB, so that's a little bit of a risk, but I feel pretty safe making that pick, considering there is a lot of good pitchers in this draft too. And based on what we were talking about already anyways, Watch Ornelas is going to go like number 2, and then we're going to have to see if he's the better of the two options. Who is it? Going to the Red Sox, it's Pedro Figueroa, Figueroa. Wait, I don't know how to pronounce that. Figueroa? I don't know. He might be in the same potential range. MLB had him ranked actually at number 1, but we had him ranked at 32. We only had him 15% scouted. So that's what goes to Boston. We'll see if Boston end up getting the better pitcher in the draft because we didn't scout him out at all. Hopefully not. Oh yeah, maybe that's the prospect actually that what is it? That I was supposed to scout out, not the other one. Oh well. Archie Hagen, looking decent as well for potential, but he might be like a project player, and he's also currently injured, so he goes number 3 to the Diamondbacks. So 3 starting pitchers in the top 3. Should be interesting to see who ends up being the best of the bunch. Yeah, Archie Hagen might be actually a pretty solid player, but he's injured, so that's a little bit of a risk, obviously, but you never really know. He could end up being a really good one. Our scouts had him at 6, so. And then Ornelas goes number 4. Yeah, this is definitely a pitching-heavy draft for sure. And then Herrera, who our scouts didn't really like, go number 5. Okay, that's pretty much all I'll take a look at. Let's sim to our next pick and see if anybody's still on the board. And yes, we got a couple players on the board still, which is good. But they might be really late round players. So there's where the rest of those players went in case you guys wanted to take a look at that. We'll definitely take a look at the players throughout the league after this draft. But we have Todd Goss, who's actually not bad. I might take a risk on taking him. Is he supposed to go around this stage? We have number 37. Our draft rank is at number 37 for him too. So I think we might take Todd Goss here. He might have a solid ceiling for a reliever. He might also have a really high overall, which I like too. So yeah, because definitely Leonard Shelton is somebody I'm not taking in this type of round. So yeah, Todd Goss, I'm going to take you. I am going to take you. Get ourselves another nice reliever maybe for the future. The MLB had him ranked at 11. So there is a chance that we might have found a good steal there for a relief pitcher prospect. Let's sim to our next pick, and Shelton went off the board. He just led to Tampa Bay. So nice pick there for Tampa Bay, at least in terms of getting a high overall player. But is he got the high ceiling? Probably not. Let's see what we got scouted out here. 35% scouted. Do we have anybody that's like a for sure thing almost scouted out around the stage? Not really. 54%. But not for like 25 picks. So I would rather probably take next round. But there's a chance he could go earlier. He might be an 82 potential, which is not bad. 54% scouted out on him. Anybody else higher scouted than that? No. Not at least in the range. What's the other guy that was scouted out? 40%. This guy might be a really good steal, though. He's 21, that's the only problem, and low overall, but he might have a high ceiling. He doesn't have a super high bonus demand. I might take a chance with Murillo. Even though he's 21, he might have a really good potential. His overall might be low, so he might be a big-time project and make it by the time he's like 30 years old. But, you know what, we're going to take a chance with Murillo here. And hopefully he's decent. Hopefully he's like a 60 overall out of that range, because if he's a 60 at 21, it's a little bit low still, but at least he has the high ceiling, so maybe he develops quick enough. But we'll see if he ends up making the majors at some point. We actually do have the next pick as well, which is good. I forgot about that we had back-to-back picks. Ron Francisco's 35% scouted. Our scouts say he's the 36th. He should be going 36th overall. 35% scouted out, though. He's not a for sure thing. He might have a really low potential. That's a little bit of a risk, but I might have to take it, to be honest. I might have to. There is also still the other guy that we were looking at, but I don't know. I feel like I want to take more of a chance with this guy. I'm kind of worried about him not being that good, Ron Francisco, but we got to take a chance sometimes, you know. And if our first scouts are right and he's supposed to go 36th, this might be a huge steal for us. So yeah, let's just continue to add bullpen help. Since it's a pitching heavy draft, I think I'm just going to focus mostly on pitching unless I see somebody in terms of like infielders that we could potentially go after. So also, why is this glitched out? After 74, it says 000, like it's not supposed to say that. Okay, now it just flipped. There you go. I don't know why it was like that. That's weird. Let's move to our next pick here at 105. Do we got anything that we scouted out still? Darren Poles. Oh, yeah, I did scout out this guy. Yeah, this guy might be actually a good option, too. 35% scouted. He might have like a B potential. He might be a lower potential than that. So it might be a bit of a risk again, but there is still also Sims. But Sims, he's not going to be... He could be a D potential guy, I think. So I don't know if I really want to take that. There is also Felipe Gonzalez, who might have a B potential, but he's already 21 as well. Yeah, this is... I feel like this draft class has just dipped off a lot, too, in terms of good players. Let's take a chance with Poles here. He was not supposed to get drafted, but our scouts say he's supposed to go at 101. We're at 105, so might as well take him. Probably could have taken him later in the draft, but I'll take him anyways. Just because might as well. And now we got Sims and Lopez and stuff like that here. Damn, yeah, there is tons of pitchers in this draft. Holy. This guy might be a really low overall, and he's injured, so I'm not going to take a chance on that. This guy might be decent, but is he? Pitch velocity, stamina, only 20% scouted out though, so those might be incorrect. Man, yeah, this class is, I don't really know. Let's take this guy. I don't know. He might be like a 79 potential, which is solid enough. If even these guys are like 75 potentials, I'll take that because they could be used as relievers. So let's just take this guy. I don't really care. I'm just going to go randomly off the board with some of these guys. And then we're going to look for one more 99 potential player and see if we could find anything huge. Steal-wise, might be a low overall, but maybe want to take a chance on Seguera. I want to see if we could find a random crazy steal here. Looking for high potential players, which there's not really a lot of. Yeah, if we're going based off potential, 10% scouted. Let's see what the other guy was, 10%. Let's take a chance with this third baseman. Why not? If he's got a high ceiling, he's already 22, that's only the problem. I should have maybe not taken that guy, but whatever. I'll just take him anyways, just to see what we could find. We're going to definitely sign everybody as well, though, regardless, so let's advance today and see if we got anybody in the home run derby. Probably not this year. Yeah, nobody in the home run derby for us, not a surprise. At some stage, though, I feel like Sixto or Cardenas could get in there, though. Also, I forgot to mention when I was talking with Nick in the Discord, he was saying that Cardenas wasn't actually having like a down year entirely because he was having his best year in terms of home runs, so his power game is getting better. Let's take a look at who made the All-Star game, because I am curious on that. Yeah, let's go like that. Boom, boom. Probably no pitchers, I'm guessing. Yeah, no pitchers, not a surprise. And then in terms of infielders and stuff like that, did we get anybody? Steve Schneider made the All-Star game. Wow, that's actually crazy. He must have just randomly stepped it up. No, he's batting still at 238. Or maybe it's just because they're literally giving every player, team a player or something like that. But, I mean, his numbers are solid in terms of OPS and whatnot. So, I don't know. That's cool, though. Steve Schneider is an all-star game player. Didn't expect him to make it over guys like Cardenas. But that's cool. That is cool for sure. he might be like a future guy to get into the home run derby because he does have that power hitting. So, okay, so we should be able to start signing picks up here shortly. There we go. Let's go auto on that, and we could finally start signing our picks. So we're definitely going to try and sign our top pick right away. How much money we got? $14 million. Let's just give him this, and he might already accept. Yep, there we go. Bobby Hyde is already a member of the Reign. Let's also see what else we got for highly scouted players, and just give them a little bit more. Murillo didn't want to accept that apparently, so we'll remove him for now. Anybody else that was scouted out a lot? Poles. We'll give you a little bit. There you go. Poles is already accepted. Perfect. I have gotten used to this way to sign every prospect now almost, so pretty much most of the time I don't lose any players in terms of the draft that I've drafted, so there you go. Oringer has accepted, and then the rest of these guys that are on the 49% needs to be scouted out more, and then we will try and offer Murillo a contract again next week, and the rest of these guys I might be able to offer a contract to not next week, in 3 days. So we might have everybody already signed relatively quick here, which is great. And then we could take a look at what this class was like. So yeah, now we could sign Francisco probably. Let's get that up to like 63 or 61. There we go. That's good for me. Todd Goss, we'll give you half of what's left of there. And then we need Segura still scouted out a little bit more. Murillo, we'll get you up to 70%. You've already accepted. And yeah, we're almost signed everybody already. We just need to wait on Segura. I'm going to sign him regardless if he's bad, so because I just want to have as much prospects in our team as possible. So okay, now we should be able to get Segura. Let's give you everything that is left. 100% interest. Take it, man. Enjoy the money. I don't know if you're actually going to be that good, but if you are, who knows? Maybe that's a great steal there. Okay, so we got everybody that we drafted. That is fantastic. Let's advance. How much days do we got before we find out? 12 plus days. Jeez. Yeah, we worked pretty quick on that. So 3 days, 7 days. Let's just go to the end of this week. Auto on Trevino. Damn, Trevino got injured for a couple days. That's not great. No, wait, today's the data sign draft pick, so it's a data sign draft pick thing. I thought it said it's the last data sign draft pick, so I'm like, what? Auto on that. No, because we already signed everybody, because we're efficient like that. No. How much days we got left? A couple more days probably still. Auto on that. Decline. I know I should be a little bit more hands-on with the roster in terms of setting it up, but I'm just going to go auto for like the first quite a few years at least. Okay, are we at the stage now where we get to find out? Looks like we are, I think. I think we're at the stage now where we get to find out. Okay, so this is the only thing we're going to do to end this episode is basically take a look at what we got in terms of the draft and what the other teams have gotten. We aren't going to take a look at player stats in this episode. I think we'll do that in the next episode, but let's see if we made the right call with Bobby Hyde. Hopefully he is good. And yeah, I would say he's decent. Like for the draft class, like I said, I feel like everybody's probably B potential range. And Bobby Hyde is B potential, but he's a 65 at 18, which is great. Hopefully he's got the high B potential wise. Like hopefully it's like an 89 potential, because if it's lower than that would be not great. But still, I think that's a great pick there. Obviously, it helps out our bullpen quite a bit. And like even if he doesn't become a starting pitcher, he can become like a reliever. But I think he's going to be a starting pitcher on this team, like maybe a number 3 guy, number 4 guy, something like that. Depends if we could find any more A potential guys in the next few years. But yeah, I like that. He has also a 4-pitch repertoire, which is pretty solid. 4-seamer, a changeup, a slider, and a 2-seamer. So he likes his fastball. He's got a couple off-speed ones. Not bad. I don't mind that at all. His best stuff is probably his K's a 9, which is great to see that he's got a lot of strikeouts per 9. So I'll definitely take that. We also have Todd Goss. Wow. Todd Goss was actually a lot better than I expected. So his C potential obviously kind of sucks, but his 69 overall at 18 is actually insane. I didn't expect him to be that high of an overall. I thought he would be kind of like maybe more of like a 60-something overall, like 65 or 63, something like that. But this guy's got a heater of a fastball, kind of 96. He's also got a 2-seamer. He's got a slider and a changeup. Yeah, this guy's going to be a pretty solid reliever. He also does have good stamina, so he could be a really solid long reliever, which would be great considering he could probably maybe deal and pitch for like a couple innings and stuff like that if our starting pitcher gets into trouble. So definitely like that with Todd Goss. Our next pick here, Carlos Murillo, does have beat potential, but he is a little bit of a low overall at 21. However, if he develops into being that guy by the time he's like 30 something, at least that looks decent. But I'd say it's an okay pick still. It kind of sucks that he's that low of an overall for 21, but at least to have the potential, I'll definitely take it. He doesn't have great hits and Ks a 9, and his balls on 9, and his home runs a 9, so all those need kind of work. But yeah, at least he got like the velocity and the stamina and whatnot, so it could be solid down the road, who knows. Our next pick, Ron Francisco. C potential's not bad. I would rather take a C potential guy than a D potential. He could end up becoming a reliever more so. 57 overall at 18 as well. Not bad. Not bad at all. And then he also has a 5-pitch repertoire, which is great to see. He's got a lot of pitches. He could throw a cutter, slider, changeup, sweeping curve, and a splitter, but he doesn't have a fastball, which is interesting. He does have a lot of random off-speed pitches and whatnot, though. Unless, is a cutter technically a fastball or not? Because I know that there's obviously 2-seam and 4-seam fastballs, but I don't know if those are all off-speed pitches or not. If it is, that's a really interesting player there. And our next pick here, Darren Poles. Wow, that's a good steal too. He's in the same boat as probably as Goss. 69 overall, C potential at 18. He might be actually a really solid kind of like a starting pitcher that just like in maybe in the number 5 spot, but he might also be more of a reliever, who knows, for us down the line. I do like that though. Also, his mutton chops are amazing. He's only got 3 pitch repertoire as well, so maybe I'd probably use him more as a reliever, but I don't know. That's a solid pick, though. Even though the potential is a little bit low, because, like, obviously we could always up people's potentials if you guys think they're playing really good and whatnot. Next, we got Kenny Olinger, or whatever you pronounce it as. 63 overall at 18. C potential. Same kind of boat for him. That's another solid pick, I'd say. Obviously, the potential isn't great, but have a guy being a solid overall at 18. Yeah, he could end up being something decent in the reliever area, too. So our bullpen might have a solid future, who knows, out of this draft. And then Alfredo Seguera, yeah, does have the B potential as we were thinking, but he is a very low overall at 22, so I don't think he makes it to the majors unless he's like 35 years old at that point. But yeah, that one kind of sucks, but oh well. So there is our draft. Pretty solid, I would say, all things considered. Like, oh, Hyde only has 85 potential. Oof. I was hoping I'd be like 89, but maybe he'll raise that potential if he gets actually some good seasons, but still a solid pitcher there. But yeah, solid draft, I'd say, for us. Obviously, we drafted heavily in terms of pitching, and I think we made the right call on most of our picks here. Depends on, I guess, the rest of these teams. Like, hopefully the rest of these teams didn't have, like, insane steals, and then we look like we just made a really bad choice with a lot of these other guys. Okay, so let's take a look at what the rest of these teams got, see if there's any huge players in this draft. Like I said, I feel like this draft might have just mostly B potential players, but there could be some random A potential guys that might go late rounds that are project players, so that's my guess. Seattle had a terrible draft based on potential rise, but overall-wise, Cortez has a 64 at 18, so yeah, there's definitely some high 60 overall guys that don't have super high potential, but will be useful in the majors at some point. Wiggins looks pretty good. Yeah, he looks pretty good. I think we did actually have this guy scouted out. 65 overall at 18, 83 potential. Salvador Alonso is a solid prospect for the Rangers as well, but he's already 21, so a little bit of a risk there, but has a A potential. We'll only look at the A potential guys, but guys like Herring, solid overall at 18. He's going to be something decent for the Braves. There's an A potential guy, Guillermo Santo, 94 potential at 18, 56 overall. Yeah, it's a really good steal there. I wish I would have found him because we are trying to find as much good starting pitchers obviously as possible. We end up maybe making the wrong call around that point, but I don't think I had him scouted out at all in this draft. Fraser, I guess solid. Ornelas, this was the guy that was supposed to go first overall that we were literally just looking at. He's actually got 83 potential. He's a 61 and 19, so He is worse in every way than the Hyde guy we took. So I think we made the right call in terms of which pitcher to take, at least at number 1. But in the later parts of the draft, maybe not so much. Yeah, this draft class ain't looking too good. Rower is pretty solid. Anybody down here? Nope. There's 192 potential guy. That is Will Alaman. And wow, that Huey Mosen guy we scouted out is not good, or at least potential-wise. But at least a lot of these players will probably be useful bench players down the road. So I think it was an interesting draft in terms of at least helping out teams build up like their bench options in a sense. So all drafts are pretty useful in that boat at least. Archie Hagen. Oh, Archie Hagen should have been probably the number 1 pick, but he was injured, and I don't know if we had him even scouted really. I don't remember if I did or not. But yeah, he's an A potential pitcher, 72 overall at 18, 92 potential. Yeah, that's a good pick there for the Diamondbacks. I didn't realize he was going to be that good, or else I probably would have taken him at number 1. Let's see, anything else interesting? If you guys see anything that I'm missing, though, let me know in the comments, because I probably will end up missing something, because I'm really tired still, so. Michael Tovar. Rich Smith is really solid. Yeah, that's actually a great pick there for the Red Sox. 60 overall at 18 is pretty good. 94 potential. So that's somebody I did not scout at all because we didn't really look at first baseman. That's a good steal there. Nobody there really. Yeah, this draft class. Is that the only like major A potential first rounder? There's Cosmo Guillen as well. 59 overall, so he's a bit of a project, but still. Solid pick there for the Tigers. Danny Olson, low overall but high potential. Yeah, there's some okay players, but in general, I think this is definitely a little bit of a lower class than some of the years we've seen before. But like I was saying, this at least helps build out teams' benches, so that way they have options to go to for other things like that. Like I think our draft was pretty much as average as most teams, but we did get a couple good steals in terms of potential. But I think Bobby Hyde is definitely obviously the best player we drafted in this one. But obviously a lot of these guys like Goss and whatnot having high overalls, that's going to be great for us in the future because these guys are going to be able to make the majors sooner rather than later. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the end of the regular season. We'll see if we end up having any award winners and stuff like that. We'll simulate through the entire off-season as well, get our contract sorted out, but I think things are looking pretty bright for the future here in Vancouver. So guys, think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.